We're happy to have Donnie Wahlberg here with us this week. Almost renewed for a second season. I think unofficially, since you're one of the top-rated shows on the air, new shows on the air this year, I think that's pretty safe to say. What's this first year of experience like been on the show for you?
Well, it's been pretty great. You know, there's been some changes. We had one showrunner for a while, and he left, and we went back to the original showrunners, and sort of all the behind-the-scenes stuff could have been rocky, but quite frankly, I went into the show really loving my character. You know, with Robin Green and Mitchell Burgess, I had a lot of input, and they were very respectful of my ideas and stuff, but I really wanted to put my energy and focus into my character and to try to make, you know, every scene, you know, the best it can be, and every moment the best it can be. You know, with music, I am a lot more hands-on. I'm more like an executive producer in my music career than I am in my acting career. And so I think I was really looking forward to just being an actor again. And when I found this character, I just fell in love with him, and so I really focused on him. And I'm not the executive producer. I'm not directing the episodes. I'm playing a character, and I did my very best. And it really felt liberating in some ways to not be worried about, you know, what the next script is going to be, but rather take it, embrace it, and work to make it the best it can be.
Well, talking about your character, Danny Reagan, I mean, let's just say this. In the part, for instance, he kicks some serious ass. I mean, he's obviously a cop that doesn't play by the book. And you get to do some really fantastic physical work on the show. Would that be an accurate description of Mr. Reagan, your character?
I think it's accurate in some ways. I think on paper he's meant to really respect his dad. And I think he does. Some of the choices he makes, if his dad were in the room, you know, he may have to make another choice, you know. But I think he does believe in his heart that he's doing the right thing at all times. I don't think Danny, maybe there was one moment in the first season where he knew he was doing the wrong thing, and I think it was when Tom Selleck's character was shot. I think in that episode Danny was dealing with Frank's old arch rival in the nursing home, and I think Danny definitely was clearly crossing a line there and was clearly aware of it. But I think the rest of the time, it's a very gray area with him. You know, I think he does take liberties. At the same time, I think he does believe he's doing the right thing, and that he's not, you know, just breaking the rules. I think he's working within sort of the old school rules, understanding that it's possible his dad may punish him for it, but it's also possible his dad may think a little bit more like Grandpa and let him get away with it once in a while.
Now, before your character joins the force, you're a Marine in Iraq. Talk about that aspect of your character, or how you prepare for that aspect of your character and what it brings to the role.
You know, I think my past experience doing a series really helped me with that. And what I mean is, when I did the series Boomtown in the past, you know, in the pilot, my character was introduced as having an issue with his wife. I sort of, in those days, I carried it around with me in every scene. And sometimes to my own detriment. Sometimes I wouldn't go with the life of a scene. And with Blue Bloods, you know, I knew that it was there. I knew that it was something that would eventually come to play. But I also knew that if I burdened Danny with that in every single scene, then I would miss out on different colors of the human being to play. You know, not everybody is strictly depressed all the time. Not everybody is always angry or always happy. There's many different layers, and I think, you know, the joy for me in this time was having the confidence and the trust to explore the different layers of Danny, to let him be happy, to let him have fun, to let him be angry, to let him be scared, to let him be a whole bunch of different things. And fortunately, the writers, you know, created a part that had a lot of that range in it. And fortunately for me, I felt safe enough and maybe experienced enough or just confident enough to trust that and to play the colors, whether it was in the police work that I did in preparation or, you know, talking to different veterans and exploring, you know, knowing my relationship with some of the veterans from Band of Brothers and the stuff that they had taught me about what they went through and the moments when something comes up, you know, that stuff all really helped to serve me really well with this character. I don't know if I answered the question, Chris.
Oh, you did.
I hope I did.
You did, definitely. Your show, Blue Bloods, was called one of the 5 best new shows of 2010 by Entertainment Weekly, and it's done very well for CBS on Fridays, and we're all hoping it will be renewed for season 2. But there's actually some buzz now around the show for the Emmys later this year, and particularly for your performance. Have you given any thought to some of your season highlights and what you might submit if you were lucky enough to be nominated?
I'm not sure that I've given it. I think if I think back now to some of the highlights, I certainly have a few favorites. I think the Silver Star episode, it was a very heavy episode, but I think, it was, I think one of the reasons I love it is, it was sort of that thing when we as actors do pilots, we have so much hope for what it's going to be. And a lot of times we want the job so bad that we don't listen to certain warnings, even from ourselves, like, well, it's CBS, it could be a procedural show, you may never get to the Iraq part of it. They may just say, let's not explore Iraq, it's CBS. And for me, I knew I didn't have any control over that. So I did the work, as Chris had asked about, I did the work, and I committed to playing this guy with a lot of different layers in the hopes that maybe one day they will explore the Iraq episode and what happened to Danny. And when the Silver Star script finally came my way, I found it, an amazing challenge to play it, but also B, very rewarding. It sort of rewarded my faith in what I had committed to. It validated my faith in Robin and Mitchell and Leonard Goldberg, and it gave me a chance to explore what Danny went through. And it was one of the first scripts of the season that I really took home with me every night and kept very close to me at all times. I found some of the very procedural episodes to be a lot of fun too. I have to say, guys, my whole approach to this season was, it's one of the things I'm very, happy to be a part of the show. I'm very proud of what we did. I think we have room to grow, obviously, and I hope we do. I hope we get better and learn from some of the bumps of a first season. But my goal was really to enjoy the process. I think it's such a gift to be a working actor on a television series that's getting so many viewers. I mean, what a treat. And, sometimes as actors we get the gig and then, we immediately start complaining about what's wrong with it. And I didn't want to do that. If there were things that I felt didn't jibe, I would speak up about it in a professional and polite way. But at the same time, every director that comes to set is different, and they bring a different approach and a different style. And, it's up to me to know my character, but rather than know my character and say, well, I don't work that way, Mr. Director B, I work this way, my thing was every director gave me a new chance to try something different and to explore my character in a different way. Every script gave me the chance to do that. So if it was an emotional script like Silver Star, obviously as an actor, I jump at a script like that. But if it was a procedural show, I really took on the challenge of, let's make this feel like it's alive, even if it is very procedural, even if it is very expositional dialogue heavy. Let's have fun with the exposition. Let's make it alive, and let me bring Danny to it at all times and try to bring some spirit to it. And I take as much pride in that, really, as any one particular episode, to be honest.
Well, if you do get nominated, you will select one episode sometime in July, and I know that's always a very tough decision for a lot of people. You can't. Sometimes the person that's in the performance can't necessarily judge it as well as maybe some of the folks that you employ, or somebody on staff on Blue Bloods, or people that are a little more distant from the character than you are.
Yeah, I honestly, I've been in the entertainment business for so long, and as a performer in music and as an actor, and I do get a little squeamish about the subject. It's a delicate thing for me, because I really do respect what I do, and I don't like to put goals outside of my work. The fact that, Chris, that you're even mentioning me in the same sentence as an Emmy nomination is beyond flattering, and I take that as the highest of a compliment. For me, though, I really do. You're right. It is difficult. It's difficult to choose an episode. It's difficult to even talk about it, because my goal really is to show up. I mean, when I show up to work every day, there's a huge crew, and they depend on me, to do my best and to help them get through the day, and to do the very best work I can do, but also do it in a manner that's respectful and timely. And so I try to focus on those things that I can control. Awards and stuff like that, I have no control over them, and if something like an Emmy nomination should come to pass, well, I probably will have someone. I might call you, Chris, or Rob, and have you guys choose the episode, because I don't know, so many things throughout the course of the season mean a lot to me. Little things in scenes that, some people may not even notice. It could be a very sort of underwritten scene in a procedural episode that, that I know that me and my co-stars and the director, we worked so hard to sort of tweak it and to have it make sense. That's just as rewarding sometimes as the big, hey, I get to cry now and I get to jump off a building and chase the bad guy. Sometimes those moments are just as rewarding.
Well, I would be remiss to just quickly ask this question before we go, Donnie. Given that, you were known for being a pop music icon only a few years ago, and now you're mostly known for being a serious dramatic actor on films like The Sixth Sense and Boomtown and Band of Brothers and currently Blue Bloods. How do you make that transition? I mean, it's almost insane. It's unheard of.
I don't know, honestly. During the time of my last incarnation with my band, I've done 2 pilots and 2 movies, and I think right now I enjoy the transitions. I enjoy being an actor, and there are times where, again, in my music career, and whether it was producing records or being a member of my band, I've always been very hands-on and been very much a part of the creative process. I really think, having gone back to my band and come back to acting, it really has heightened my appreciation for acting. I've always loved it. I take acting very seriously, and I try to do it without taking myself too seriously all the time, but I do take being an actor very seriously, and I love TV. I mean, I love doing a TV series. I've never even, 15 years ago when TV wasn't cool, I always said I'd love to do a TV series one day, because I like to stay busy. I like to, I'm not a big fan of doing a lot of preparation and then sitting around all day waiting to work, and I think that's what movies is a little bit more of that. The transition, it's a little hard, but it's all about committing to my character and committing to really finding the walk, because really that's sort of it with any character. Is we can study the lines 1,000 times, we can do all the research in the world, but it's not until we put those clothes on and we sort of discover how that character walks that we really believe we're that person. And as long as I keep doing the work and I'm not on tour goofing around and partying and being crazy and then just show up and expect to make a miracle happen on a set, I still do the work, I still do the preparation, and I still, like any actor, long for that moment when I find my character's walk, and there's really been no thrill quite like finding Danny Reagan's walk. I just love playing that character, and I'm really will be eternally grateful to Robin and Mitchell for letting me play this guy, and to Leonard Goldberg. I mean, sometimes I look over at Tom Selleck and I said, how in the world did they ever cast me as your son? Because I'm a foot shorter than you. My hair is blonde. I have no eyebrows. I couldn't grow a mustache if I spent 6 years trying to grow one. But they saw something in me, and now when I walk on set, I do feel that connection to Tom. I feel a very honest relationship that's very similar to Danny and Tom. It's Danny and Frank, rather. I mean, I feel it, and it's a very interesting relationship, and I really think that's a testament to the executive producer's foresight, and to Tom and my willingness to do the work. No matter how frustrating it, how many days on set in a row we've been, we always show up ready to do the work and to never settle for anything less than our best.
Well, you bring up Tom Selleck, and that's kind of how I wanted to end the interview. Just before we talked with you, we had an interview with him just like 20 minutes ago. And the last question I asked him off camera was, we're going to talk to Donnie. What should we ask Donnie from Tom? And so Tom, this is from Tom, he wanted to know if you're taking good care of your dog.
Yeah, my dog's, you know what, I had him here with me yesterday for my tour rehearsal, and I had a little too much stuff to do today, so I didn't bring him. But yeah, I'm taking good care of him. He's a French bulldog named Lumpy, and he's great. He was sort of the mascot on set, and it's Tom's a very special guy, and I know you guys just had the pleasure of speaking to him, and very smart guy, very hardworking guy. But I'm really happy for him with this show. I think he works hard every single moment on set, and he never settles for anything less than what he believes is right. And I'm really proud for him. I know we get a lot of mustache jokes, and most every interview, with the exception of this one, because you guys did not bring up the mustache at all, and I commend you for that. He's so much more than a mustache. I mean, he's really... He's quite a leader, and I'm really we work in very different ways. We have totally different approaches, but we both at the end of the day want the very same thing, and I think we both have identified that in each other, and it makes for a really special relationship. And in much, again, like I said, like Danny and Frank, Danny is his own cop. He does things his own way, but I think Frank at the end of the day knows that Danny is only trying to do the right thing. And I may improvise a lot and go off book and try to bring a certain spirit to a lot of the scenes that we do. And Tom is very much committed to what we decide is going to be on the page. But he lets me go. He's not afraid of me, being too colorful in scenes. I mean, he really has a lot of confidence and a lot of faith in me, and that means the world to me, because he's an icon, for one, but more importantly, he's a phenomenal leader, and he gets it. I mean, he's a very, very good actor and a smart man.
And when you're a little boy and you're growing up, I mean, did you ever imagine, you're probably watching Magnum P.I. like all of us did, that you're going to be good friends with this guy as well as be playing his son one day?
Never. I never thought I'd go to Hawaii. Nothing, and it's really fun, it's been fun with Tom, sort of being away from him, but working with him, in that I've sort of, since I was in New Kids on the Block, and since I was young and a member of that band, I always hear things like, "Oh my God, my sister told me to say hi," and I used to be a big fan, and this, that, and the other. And when I started working with Tom, it's really one of the first times all the energy changed. Everybody suddenly said, "Tell Tom this," and "Give Tom a message for me," and I got to sort of really enjoy what that felt like, and to go up to Tom and say, "Tom, I hate to do this to you, but do you mind taking a picture with my sister? She came down to see you. She's a huge fan." People have always done that to me, and to have it happen now, in reverse with Tom, it's a lot of fun, and he's a great example. He stops and talks to my fans who come visit the set. He's a good guy. I told him he should run for president. If you guys speak to him again, you can ask him for me if he's going to run for president or not, because I think Donald Trump might have finished off his possible run after Obama got him at the Correspondence Dinner. So maybe Tom should run. I think he could do it. I think he could be a great candidate.
Well, anyway, we really
I don't know if I vote for him, though, because he's Republican.
Yeah, that's a good point. Keep that in mind. Thank you so much for your time today, Donnie. It was a real pleasure talking to you, and we wish you all the best for the Emmy nominations coming up this year, and hopefully for season 2.
Thank you guys so much. This was a lot of fun.